Listen, I'm a big fan of yours. I'm probably one of your younger fans, I'd say, but I'm quite a fan. So it's great to talk to you, and thanks.
Not at all. You sound very young. How old are you, Ryan?
23.
Oh my God. You know, Aslan, I've been going 35 years. So let's put that into perspective. Yeah, Aslan formed in 1982, Ryan.
12 years before I was born.
Yeah, there you go. And our first single, would you believe, it released in 1986, was This Is. How good is that for a first single for a band to release?
Unbelievable. It's
Oh,
my
you said it.
it's a
Unbelievable, Ryan.
it's a
It's
fantastic song.
absolutely brilliant.
Um, like so you've been a band for for so long. Obviously you've had ups and downs and stoppages and stuff, but like as in general, what do you think has it been that's made you been able to keep going for so long, to still be here in 2017 after all that's happened?
I think it just comes down to one thing. We all love the music. It comes down to it's not like going to work, or it's not like if you love something. You know the old saying, if you find something that you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we have found.
Yeah.
The five of us when we started, it was the love of music that kept us going. Now, it hasn't been easy, Ryan. We've had so many ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's like the chorus of This Is goes, everybody hits you, everybody knocks you down. We've had a million and one reasons to knock it on the head, but we've also had a million and one reasons to keep it going.
Yeah.
One of those is first of all the love of the music, but second the fans and the support that we have is like, it's unreal.
Yeah,
It really is.
it really seems to
Without
be.
the fans, we're nothing. It amazes me how many times people will come and see Aslan in a year, or over the 35 years, how many times people return to the gigs. And it's you can put it down to one of two things, I suppose. The Irish people aren't fools.
Mm-hmm.
To go to a gig now, especially if you're married and you have kids, it takes a lot of organisation. You have to get your transport to the gig, you have to get someone to babysit, your tickets for your gigs, the drinks, if you're staying over in a hotel.
Yeah.
It's a big expense. So for people to do that, if they go and see a band and they don't like the band, or they think the band is shit, they won't go and see them again.
Exactly.
So
right.
the fact that people are coming back to us and back to us again and back to us again with all that tells me that Aslan are a great live band. So I honestly believe that, because if we weren't, we wouldn't have the fan base that we have.
And I can absolutely.
We wouldn't have been able to sustain it for so long, if we were a bad band. So I think the atmosphere at the gigs, at Aslan gigs in particular, it's just like one big sing-along party. That's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I saw you myself for the first time back in August. I went to your show in the INEC on the bank holiday weekend in August.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic. Like I enjoyed it so much, and I think it was because you can see not only are you guys like a really tight live band, like you know each other well, you've been playing together a long time, you know the songs, etc., but you really look like you're enjoying yourself. You're like, you particularly, and Christy as well, and everyone is enjoying themselves so much. Like you can really see the support that you have, and I think that it's more important than anything, really.
I think it is, yeah, I really do. That cuts through. It cuts through all the bullshit. When you. That's why there's so many things going. That can upset you and everything during the day. But when you get on stage and there's people there and there's a connection there,
yeah,
that's better than sex, Ryan. You know what I mean? Seriously, it's just unbelievable. It's a great experience, and it's the one thing I think that bonds us, with our fans, that there's that connection there, and I mean, we're constantly going to gigs and amazed at the age difference of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you're at the INEC, you're only a young fella, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you go to the other spectrum, I think our age group is like 9 to 90. You have like, elderly people that will come to see us. And, you talk to them and you say, what brings you to an Aslan gig? They say it's the songs. It's the way Christy puts the song across. You know, now I know he was diagnosed. He's not as active on stage as he used to be.
Yeah, but that's understandable.
But I mean, if you were to go back 3 years ago, you know, to 2014, Christy was in Beaumont Hospital, diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're still here now and gigging is nothing short of a miracle. You know.
And you've been through.
I think people respect that with Aslan. That everything we've been through, especially Christy. Christy's had a really, really hard life. You know, I don't know if you saw the documentary, This Is Christy.
I did. I watched it. Yeah.
Very honest. It went through all the child sex abuse. It went through his drug habit. These are all things that, you know, I mean, when Christy was on badly strung out on drugs, it ended up with us sacking him.
Yeah,
That's how bad it got, Ryan.
Yeah, I know.
But it had to be done because I don't think Christy would be alive if he didn't get that wake-up call, you know.
I mean, you also have to be cruel to be kind as a friend.
You know, that kind of spurred him to get clean, and then he gets struck down with cancer. So, I mean, people see Christy and they see he's a real fighter, and you know the way he's dealing with his problem. He doesn't mope about. He just gets on with it, you know.
And
I think people respect that with him. I think with Christy Dignam, I think we have one of the best frontmen and vocalists that Ireland has ever produced.
I totally agree.
No.
I totally agree. I think
when you hear Christy singing, you know immediately it's Christy Dignam.
Yeah.
It's no other singer.
You really do.
You know, you'll hear some Irish bands, and you'll go, "Who's that? Who's that singing?"
There's something so distinctive about Christy's voice.
The minute you hear Christy singing, you know it's Christy.
Yeah.
There's very few singers. I can count the singers on my hand that is, you know, it's, you know, when you hear David Bowie singing, you know it's David Bowie. Christy Dignam has that unique voice, and the way he puts the song across, he puts everything into it, you know.
Yeah.
He puts 110% into getting the emotion of the song across, which I think is very important, because the day that we walk out on stage, and you know, whether there's 20 people or whether there's 1,000 or whether there's 20,000, we always give 110%. And the day that we walk out on stage, Ryan, and we don't give 110%, the Irish people are no fools. They'll say, that's the end of it, and it will be the end of it.
Yeah.
You know, because we still get nervous before a gig, which is weird after 35 years.
Yeah.
But I remember a singing teacher saying to myself and Christy that if you don't get nervous, it means that you don't care about the gig.
Yeah.
So the fact that you do get nervous means you care. You care about the performance.
Yeah, you want to do it
well. And the
well.
audience can pick up on that nervousness in a good way because they know you care about the performance. You know?
And like, obviously you've had Christy's had, as you said, a really tough time in the last few years with being ill, and like the band, like Aslan, like you've lost some close friends. You lost your keyboard player. You lost your
we lost our manager.
Your manager Sven,
and there was a girl that just started with us doing our social media. That was this year. This year has been a really weird year. You know, like if you go back to last April, Fitzy, our keyboard player, was in the Cork Opera House with us.
Yeah. Which
is weird, and now he's gone.
I know, and
then
and you know what? I actually had tickets for that.
And we lost our manager in a freak accident. He was from Norway, and he was at home on his farm. He has a farm, and we were gigging in Waterford Castle, but it was a corporate gig, so there was no reason for our manager to be there. He said, "Look, I'll fly home." So we flew home, and the neighbour in his neighbouring field set fire to the field to try and burn the weeds. But the wind changed direction, and the fire was heading for Sven's farm, for his house. So Sven was out with buckets of water trying to put the fire out, and he had a heart attack. But it wasn't a heart attack that killed him. While he was down on the ground, he inhaled all the smoke, so there was no oxygen going to his brain. So
My God.
He was dead. Now that was, for us we had to fly off to Norway, and that was a really, really, after losing Fitzy in April, and then losing Sven in May, and then and if you go even forward to that, on March the 16th, we were in the Olympia Theatre in Dublin, and Grace, this young girl, was introduced to us, and she was going to take over our website and our social media, and it was grand. And then she went down to Galway, and there was a fire in the house she was in caused by a phone charger.
Jesus.
And she was killed as well in the fire. So we've lost.
And how old was she?
3 people that were involved in the organisation. So.
And how old was
if
this
you'd said
girl?
to me last year, someone's going to die in the Aslan camp, you'd put your money on Christy.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't put your money on our manager or our keyboard player or Grace. Do you know what I mean? It's a weird. You know what? It's a crazy world, and I hate saying that, but it is fucking crazy world when things like that are happening. And you know, one of the last things that Sven set up before he passed away was he set up our biggest selling album is made in Dublin.
Yeah.
And he set up to release that on vinyl. And that was one of the last things that he set up. And last week we were in Tower Records for the launch of that album.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
And it was a real surreal thing. This was Sven's job. This was the last thing he did before he went. Before he went to Norway. The last thing he set in place.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a weird one as well. But you just have to keep going because. What else are we going to do, Ryan? Do you know what I mean? This is what we do. This is what we are. We've been doing this for 35 years. We don't want to do anything else. We enjoy this. But you just have to... It's weird. We've another keyboard player now that's taken Fitzy's place, a guy called Mark Redmond. Lovely guy, really nice guy, really great keyboard player. But it's just Fitzy was with us for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a while, I think, for Mark to settle in.
Of course, yeah. And even in terms of has things like that affected the band in the sense even Christy, obviously I don't know how Christy is now in terms of getting treatment or whatever, and I don't know what the story is, but for the band has it affected your plans in terms of your planning, etc.?
No, in fact we're actually working now harder than we ever did because we realise now that the time we have is very precious. As regards Christy's treatment, Christy goes over. He has amyloidosis, which is a very, very rare form of blood cancer.
Okay.
There was only when Christy was diagnosed with it, there was 3 people in Ireland that had it. The other 2 people have passed away. Christy goes to a clinic in London.
Wow.
It's so rare. There's no clinic here. He's treated here in Beaumont Hospital, but he has to go over to London once a year. Now he's due to go over there in March. He'll be over there because we can't do the Olympia on the 16th because he'll actually be over there on the 14th, 15th and 16th of March next year.
Okay.
He'll be in London. They'll give him a scan. They'll see how the cancer, is it growing, is it spreading? You see, because it's blood cancer, it affects Christy's organs. It affected his heart, so he had to get a pacemaker in. So they'll bring him over again now in March. The last scan he had, he was grand. His proteins they were level. So we're hoping that when he goes over in March, everything will be grand as well. But there's a sense of urgency now, as in we're going into the studio now in November with Philip McGee. He did our last album, Nudie Books and Frenchies, which had the single on it, Too Late for Hallelujah. But Philip McGee also did Codaline, and he also did the script. Brilliant producer. So we're going in to record some new material and get it done as quickly as possible. We have a single ready to go, which will be released in January. So it's the gigs. We're getting in as many gigs as we can. As I said to you, we've two gigs in Vicar Street in December. The 27th and the 29th. The 29th is already sold out. The 27th is nearly there. We're going to be adding a third gig to that, the 30th. And exclusively, which will be announced next Tuesday, we're doing the Cork Opera House in February.
In February?
In February, yeah. I think it's February the 24th.
Okay.
I think. Now, I'll know next Tuesday because we're announcing it next Tuesday. I just haven't got my diary with me.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so we're down in Mallow this Sunday. But we'll be in Cork City Centre in the Opera House. Now we've been doing the Opera House the past 4 years, and it's just a great buzz. it's an amazing atmosphere again, you know.
Yeah, I didn't manage to get tickets for your last gig in the Opera House, the last one you did a couple of months just before Fitzy died, because I didn't have tickets, but I wanted to go because I'm based in Cork myself. So it's good to hear you coming back.
That was Fitzy's last gig, as I said to you. That was his last gig. So again,
yeah.
That's going to be weird when we go there in February. It's going to be weird, but that's been announced next year. When is your article going? When are you putting up this article?
This will be going up probably over the next few days, in line with your gig in Mallow, if that's...
Okay, well then what I'll do is I will send you the correct date. I think it's February the 24th. I just need to double check it.
Okay.
I just need to double check it. But I know it's normally March that we do it, but this year we're doing it in February. And tickets for the Cork Opera House are going on sale next Tuesday morning.
Okay.
21st.
Okay. Well,
no, but we have to get Mallow out of the way first. That's why we can't announce the Cork Opera House, because obviously we're in Mallow this Sunday, you know.
Okay, yeah, I get you. And you've also released the Made in Dublin, as you said, the re-release of the Made in Dublin.
On vinyl, yeah, on vinyl. What we did was we only got 1,000 pressed up. You see, it's weird. Made in Dublin is our biggest selling album.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's weird because it's a live album.
Yeah.
And I remember when we were making it, Ryan, the record company we were with at the time, which was EMI, we were in Vicar Street for a couple of nights, and we said, look, we're here for a couple of nights, let's record it and do a DVD. Now, this is going back to 1999.
Yeah.
And I remember EMI came to us and they said, look, live albums don't sell. Oasis's live album sold about 15,000 copies in Ireland. Yours is not going to sell that much, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it goes to show you how much record companies know, because we financed that ourselves, and we did a DVD, and we recorded the album. And it went on to be our biggest selling album.
Crazy.
You know, which is unbelievable, because if we'd have taken the advice of the record company, we wouldn't have gone near it. We wouldn't have recorded it.
Yeah.
So it goes to show you, you know, if you believe in something, you should always follow your gut, you know. And our gut was telling us, look, this is a great opportunity. I remember we had 6 nights in Vicar Street on the trot, back to back, in 1999, and we said, we'll never get this opportunity again. You know, we're bound to get something good over the 6 nights, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why we brought the cameras in as well, because we knew we could put something together. And I don't know if you've seen the Made in Dublin DVD. I think it's up on YouTube, actually.
I've only watched part of it. I know the album from listening to it pretty well. I just haven't.
Everyone knows it because Angie and Wish You Were Here on it, which aren't their songs.
That doesn't matter.
Kind of surreal. But then again, the version we did of Wish You Were Here, we got a letter from Roger Walters commenting on how much he liked their acoustic version of Wish You Were Here.
Really?
He thought it was a really nice twist, you know, no electric guitars on it.
Great.
Which there wasn't. There was just two acoustics bass, and we had strings.
Yeah.
We had a string quartet with us for the Made in Dublin, you know. And that's what we'll have now in Vicar Street these 3 Christmases. We'll have the same. It's Made in Dublin revisited because the album's on vinyl. So we'll have a string quartet, percussion player. It's the exact same setup and the exact same songs that we'll be performing as we did in 1999.
Okay.
You know, so that's the reason why we released Made in Dublin on vinyl as well. And it's going well. We you know, there was only 1,000 copies made. They're all individually numbered. I think they're nearly all gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We ran a competition to give 001 away, and we gave that to a guy that he came into Tower Records, Jim Egan, his name is. He came in, and I was glad because he is a fan. And there was no fix or no messing with it. He just won it genuinely, name out of the hat, and he won it. I like the idea that, you know, someone that supports us rather than someone that just gets it, you know.
Yeah, because
that doesn't have anything to do with the band or doesn't support the band. So it was nice for him to get that, you know.
Yeah, and because I hope they're not all gone, because I know my local record store had one, and I'm still hoping to pick it up because I really want it on vinyl. So I'm going to try and do that as soon as possible.
A lot of people are buying it on vinyl, even though they haven't got record players, and they're getting it framed.
A lot of people do that now for some
A lot of people in Tower
reason.
Records were getting us to sign it. And, you know, we'd be saying, have you got a record player? Oh, no, I'm going to get it framed. And because it's such an iconic cover, you know, which is weird, you know. Well, I haven't got a record player, which I found, you know, But it was a real eye-opener in Tower last week because the whole floor, the whole upstairs in Tower is dedicated to vinyl.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know this. I know the store quite well. It's a good store.
Which is, so it's surreal. Vinyl is actually back.
Yeah.
So it's mad. It really is.
I'm a big vinyl fan myself. I do actually have a player.
I love vinyl.
Yeah.
I love it because with downloads you get nothing. With vinyl you have this big thing in your hand and you can open it and you can read the sleeve notes and if the lyrics are there you can read the lyrics.
Yeah.
Vinyl is where it's at. You actually go in and you buy music and you come out with it in your hand as opposed to downloading it on your phone and or downloading it on your iPad or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I just love vinyl, but I'm old school. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I've been collecting records actually myself for like the last couple of years. So, I do, like, even though I'm kind of younger, I do appreciate that it's there is something more tangible to be had with it.
Yes, that's the word. It's tangible. Yeah, that's it. There, you have something in your hand. Yeah, as opposed to nothing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's grand. Previously our only album that was available on vinyl was Feel No Shame, our debut album.
Okay.
And that was released on vinyl, and it was released in 1988, and it was released on vinyl, but CDs were only just starting to come out in 1988.
Okay.
And they done 1,000 copies of CD of the original Feel No Shame. There was only 1,000 printed because CDs hadn't really taken off.
Yeah.
They were just kind of new to the market. And if you have one of those original CDs, now they've been duplicated now since then.
Yeah.
But if you have one of the originals, they're worth a few bob.
Cool.
Yeah, it is. It's mad, isn't it? It's mad the way there was, like in 1988,
You just never know.
it was released on vinyl. Feel No Shame. There's only 1,000 CDs. Now you go back to this year, we're releasing 1,000 on vinyl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gone full circle again.
It really has. You just don't know where the next craze, the next, wave of popularity is going to come out from. You really don't.
And you know what? That applies to music as well. One thing that we've stuck with is any Aslan song you can just pick up an acoustic guitar and play it. And I think that's the true test of a song. If you can pick up the guitar and just play the song all the way through, that to me is a song. There's a lot of bands now that just you can't do that with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you need a bank of computers and keyboards and this, that, and the other to get the song across.
Yeah.
I think that's more of
You need your own home studio.
And not a song, really. Do you know what I mean?
You need your own home studio to do it.
Yeah, well, we're firm believers in that now because our last album, Nudie Books and Frenchies, was recorded in Joe's sitting room. Philip McGee brought the Pro Tools into the sitting room. So that's all you need. The whole album was done in there, everything, and you don't need to be spending $600 or $700 a day in big studios. You don't need that anymore. You just need the right equipment. And as you said, people are recording at home. My son Jake is in a band called The Valves.
Okay.
And they're supporting us in Limerick, in the Big Top in Limerick on the 16th of December, and they're also doing the 27th in Vicar Street. But he's doing a lot of his recording at home.
Yeah.
And it's the way to go. It really is,
Yeah, it really
because
is.
when you're a young band, Jake is 18, you're only starting now. You don't have the money to be spending.
Yeah,
to go in and
exactly.
do demos and push studios, so just do it at home.
Yeah,
If the song is good, it'll still come true, Ryan.
Yeah, if you just have to find a way to do it.
If the song is good, it will come true. I remember a great story. We were doing the Rose of Tralee years and years ago, and this guy was supporting us, and he arrived pulling the shopping trolley. He had a guitar on his back, and he had his effects in the shopping trolley. Not a shopping trolley, a little trolley basket, pulling it behind him.
Yeah.
He had his leads and all his bits and pieces and that. And I says, "How are you doing? How's it going?" Got chatting to him, and I says, what are you doing at the moment, And he says, "Oh, I'm doing an album." I says, "Fair play to you." He says, "Where are you doing it?" He says, "I'm doing it in my bedroom." It's right, cool. I said, "That's brilliant, So anyway, he went on, he done the gig. The guy I'm talking about was Damien Rice.
You're joking.
And the album was Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That just shows you that you don't need. He recorded that as better. Now it was obviously mixed in a studio or whatever else, but he used to be in a band called Juniper, and then he left Juniper, and he supported us at the Rose of Tralee. I'll never forget that story, and I always tell that story to young bands.
God.
You know, I said the guy was Damien Rice, and the album was Oh. What an album!
What an album! Yeah, one of the best albums.
Cracking out their songs for you. You know what I mean?
One of the most, I think, like touching and personal and emotional Irish artists, I think, in recent times. I think the songs he writes are just, there's something so like intensely personal about it that you just can't get past, which is
He's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Love him. Big fan. I remember another time then Damien was up and he always fucking selling millions, and we were doing a couple of nights in the Olympia, and he was in Dublin, and we rang him and we said, Damien, this is a mad one. He says, but would you like to come down the Olympia and do a song with us?
Mm-hmm.
And we had 3 guests come up. We were in the Olympia for I think it was 2 or 3 nights.
Yeah.
And the 3 guests came down on the 3 nights. And one guest was Damien Rice.
Mm-hmm.
The other guest was Jerry Fish. And the other guest was the singer of a band called Relish. I don't know if you remember them. But he was absolutely brilliant. But Damien Rice came in and he says, can I sing Prince? And he says, what? And he went, yeah. He sang Kiss. You don't have to be...
Really?
And what a vibe he put on it. It was absolutely brilliant. And he came down, not just the one night, he came down to 3 nights. He enjoyed it so much. He's here again. There he is standing in the wings, and on he came. And I think we asked him for the recording of it. Could we use the recording of it?
Mm-hmm.
He gave us the recording of it. We have that hidden away. But it was a great buzz.
That would be an interesting one to hear, I must say.
The most. But then, I mean, when Christy was sick, we had the Night for Christy, which, you know, like, we're only a Dublin band, and we didn't realise the love or respect from other bands that we had until Christy got sick, and we had the Night for Christy. You had, you know, the Coronas, you had Brezzy, you had Horslips, you had Ryan Sheridan.
Yeah.
And you know, who else was there? Jerry Fish, the Riptide Movement, Mary Black, Jesus, and on and on and on. And then U2 were in New York, and we didn't know this, but they were working on their album, but they recorded This Is. They done a version of This Is, which was shown in the Olympia Theatre that night. And it was just,
I think I heard.
That was just an amazing buzz for them to take time out of doing their album and to do that for Christy. And then when Bono got back to Dublin, he actually called up to Christy when he was sick, and he gave him a book of poetry by Seamus Heaney, which I thought that was like, you know, he didn't have to do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought for one singer to another singer, I thought that was a lovely gesture for him to do. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
it shows he cares. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, I thought that was. But I mean, we could have done 7 nights. There was the list of musicians that wanted to perform with us. See, the vibe for the Night for Christy was all of those acts had to do an Aslan song.
Yeah.
We even had Jedward on. Jedward sang "She's So Beautiful," great fucking pop song, and they sang live, and they went down a storm. It was fucking great. You know, it was mad. It was mad. What a night! I remember we were rehearsing. Gavin James got up and done Chains.
Oh, okay.
But all of these had to come in and rehearse with us, and I'm just standing there, and I used to be mad into Horslips, and I turned around, and there's Jim Lockhart, and, you know, the boys, and I'm going, pinch me, you know, pinch me. I'm playing with your Horslips, do you know what I mean? Paul Brady came on, done a brilliant version of a song called We Did.
Yeah.
Now, as far as that's up on YouTube, you should have a look at that as well, Ryan. Amazing night.
Yeah, I might do. I might have a.
It's an amazing night. What a gig, you know. What a gig for us to do, and for fans to be at. You know what I mean? It was unreal. But the U2 thing was really, you know, it was really, Christy was fucking really touched by it, you know?
Yeah,
We didn't know. It was Googie that was doing MC. And we were saying, what's the screen for? And then Damien Dempsey, he was in London. He gave a message from London on the screen. And we said, that's why the screen is there for Damo. Do you know what I mean? Little did we know U2 were going to pop up on the screen then later. Do you know what I mean?
And do one of your
Great
songs.
buzz.
Fantastic.
There's been a lot of highs. As well as the lows, there's been a lot of highs, Ryan. You know?
Absolutely, and listen, it's well deserved. It's well deserved. I'll probably wrap it up here because I've definitely more than enough to be to.
No worries, Ryan.
To go.
I will talk forever. I talk the hind legs off a donkey. That's what the lads. Everyone in Aslan has a job, and my job is to do PR because I just love it. I just love talking about the band, and you know, I just enjoy it. Alan looks after the accounts, Joe looks after the publishing and the recording, Rod looks after the social media now, Christy just sings. That's it. That's it. We all have our job, you know.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, you're you're a journalist's dream, and B, you know, it shows how passionate you are about the band and how much you love talking about it.
And you know what? That passion, as I said to you, if you can come to a gig, if you can make it down to the Cork Opera House, you have my email and number, right? So if you send me a text closer to February, I'll put you on the guest list, Ryan.
Well, that would be fantastic. That would be.
Would you be grand? You know what I mean? And you come in and say hello. You know what I mean?
Is this your home?
My number.
Is this your home phone
number? Just send
number?
me a text. Oh, it'll just be yourself now because the guest list for Cork goes ridiculous. If everyone comes out with the woodwork. Can I be on the guest? You know, all these people that we've met over the years in Cork. Because we've played all the venues in Cork, you know, everywhere from, you know, everywhere from City Hall to the Old Oak, you know, to the Brewery Tap, to bloody, you name it. We've been there, you know, big gigs, small gigs. You know, we've done it all, really, you know.
Yeah.
I prefer the smaller gigs, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. That.
There's a more intimacy. There's a connection there. I remember we did Slain with David Bowie, and the audience were like 30 feet away from where we were. That gap, it creates a vibe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like